A dashcam is supposed to protect you the one time it actually matters. Some of the most popular ones on the market won't be there when that moment comes, and most owners have no idea which kind they own. So we looked past the marketing at what actually happens after people buy them. The complaints, the failures, the ones that quietly stop working when it counts. 10 brands kept coming up, 5 for all the wrong reasons, and 5 that actually earned people's trust. Number 5. Wolfbox. The mirror cam design sells itself. Mounted right over your rearview mirror, barely noticeable, marketed as 4K. It looks like the dashcam you upgrade to, not the one you settle for. That's exactly why people buy it. But the hardware tells a different story. The camera simply isn't capable of recording native 4K. Wolfbox uses Sony's IMX335 sensor, which was never designed for it. Instead, the footage is digitally stretched to look sharper than it actually is. Independent dashcam forums have repeatedly flagged Wolfbox for this exact practice. One professional review even called the video quality among the best seen from any dashcam to date. That review and the sensor findings can't both be right. Then there's the part nobody mentions in the unboxing videos. That same mirror cam design that looks so sleek in photos gets partially blocked by the mirror assembly in some cars. Owners also describe installation as far more complicated than the marketing suggests. So Wolfbox sold people a better picture than it could deliver. The next brand didn't just exaggerate the picture, it exaggerated everything. Number 4. Rove. Somewhere, someone is trusting the Rove R24K Dual to capture the moment their car gets hit in a parking lot, front and back, in full 4K. That's the promise. The hardware tells a different story. The camera simply can't record native 4K. Inside is a Sony Starvis 2-sensor physically limited to 2.5K. Rove's other 2 to 4K Pro model uses an even smaller 2K sensor. Either way, the footage is digitally stretched to simulate a resolution the hardware was never built to capture. It doesn't stop there. The sensor records at 25 frames per second. The final file is packaged as 30 frames per second by duplicating frames. Even the smoothness you're seeing isn't entirely real. That matters if you're relying on the footage to prove what happened. A stretched, duplicated recording isn't the same as one that was actually captured that way. And yet, Rove isn't buried in complaints. Review data is mostly positive, with one recurring caveat. 4K claims debated, SD card picky. Owners also regularly praise the company's fast customer support. But fast support doesn't undo what you were never told before you bought it. You're not buying a 4K dashcam. You're buying a 2.5K camera with a very good marketing team. Marketing wasn't the biggest problem on this list. Reliability was. Number 3. Provio. Picture this. Your dashcam is mounted on the windshield, quietly recording every drive, doing the one job you bought it for. Then, one day, it just stops. Owners of the Provio D30H have described exactly that. Reports of the camera freezing mid-recording. Others describe it rebooting on its own, at random, with no warning. You don't find out your dashcam failed until you actually need the footage. And by then, it's too late. There's a reason for some of it. The suction mount holding the camera to your windshield sits in direct sunlight for hours. Some owners report those mounts melting in the heat, and the camera losing focus. As a result of dashcam baking in the same sun it's supposed to help you deal with. It's not just the D30H owners of the D90 report connectivity that drops in and out, and video that lags or freezes altogether during playback. When something did go wrong, support wasn't always there to help. Early feedback described the company as slow to respond, with some owners even questioning whether its reviews were real. More recent comments suggest that's improved. One owner called the experience with customer service hassle-free. So the story isn't all bad. It's just inconsistent. And inconsistent is a hard thing to trust with your evidence. At least this one's still recorded, most of the time. Number 2. Apeman. Apeman built its name on being the budget-friendly dashcam. Affordable, reliable enough, good for someone who just wants basic peace of mind on the road. That reputation didn't hold up. Apeman was removed from Amazon for violating incentivized review policy, meaning the glowing reviews that helped sell these units weren't exactly earned. The company then tried relaunching under different names, leaving buyers confused about what they were actually purchasing. Confusion is one thing, freezing is another. Owners commonly report the screen freezing on startup. Others describe the screen going blank entirely, a recurring complaint across multiple sources. And if you ever needed the footage for something serious, the night recordings often can't help you. Low-light performance is documented as poor enough to make license plates unreadable after dark, the exact moment you'd need that detail most. When any of this went wrong, the warranty wasn't much of a safety net either. Multiple accounts describe the one-year warranty simply not being honored. Customer support is described as largely non-responsive. Buyers are advised to expect little to no help after the sale. A budget camera that asks you to gamble the one time you actually need it to work. But that wasn't the only brand asking buyers to gamble. Number 1. Aukey. Before any of this happened, Aukey made some of the most trusted budget dash cams on the market. Reviewers praised the video quality as excellent day and night, sharp enough to read license plates in daylight. People bought it expecting a camera company that was here to stay. Then it came out why those reviews looked so good. A data leak exposed direct messages coordinating a pay-for-positive review scheme. Aukey, alongside TomTop and MPOW, not a rumor. Documented, reported by Tom's Guide, and corroborated separately by Android Police. Aukey was pulled from Amazon in the US and Canada in 2021 because of it. The company never recovered from that. The companion app was removed from both the App Store and Google Play by late 2021. No new dashcam models have launched since. Parts and warranty support are effectively discontinued, according to follow-up reporting, though existing owners can technically still find firmware through Aukey's support portal. So if you bought an Aukey dashcam, you didn't just buy a camera. You bought into a company that was quietly caught buying its own reputation, and then disappeared. That's the 5 to worry about. Now the 5 that actually earned people's trust. Number 5. 70mi. If you ask dashcam owners which brands have the best after-sale support, 70mi comes up first. One user, comparing it directly against Red Tiger, Viofo, and Blackview, called 70mi's tech support the most reliable of the bunch. That's not nothing. Support is usually where these brands fall apart. 70mi holds up elsewhere too. One owner reported over a year of trouble-free use running both a front and rear camera. The kind of quiet reliability you don't notice until you compare it to brands where owners are used to freezing screens and dead mounts. But 70mi isn't clean across the board. The A510 records at 3K, and some users have said that falls short compared to true 4K alternatives. Not a fake spec, just a resolution that doesn't quite match the competition. The bigger concern is something you won't find in a spec sheet. App Store privacy labels show 70mi collects location data tied to your identity, something Blackview and Thinkware don't do. And the company's own policy states that data may be transferred to and processed in other countries, including China. Owners have asked for a clearer answer on where that data actually goes. They haven't gotten one. There's also this. Independent security researchers found open, unauthenticated network ports on 70mi devices, the kind of vulnerability that could expose your device to anyone looking. So 70mi earns trust with support and reliability. Whether it earns your privacy is a different question entirely. Good support means nothing if the camera is quietly reporting more than the road. Number 4. Rexing. Rexing built a reputation on longevity. One owner still has a 2016 era Fi 1P model running today, still going strong, years after most dash cams would have been replaced. That kind of track record is rare in this category. But the app is where Rexing starts to lose people. The companion app has been described as taking 30 minutes just to connect, with playback buffering every couple of seconds. If you're trying to quickly pull footage after an incident, that delay matters. There are smaller cracks too. Some users have questioned the 4K claims on certain models, and others report SD card compatibility issues, though nothing as severe or well documented as what Rove or Wolfbox were caught doing. No sensor swap, no frame duplication, just an occasional inconsistency, and when it counts, Rexing has delivered. At least one owner credits Rexing footage with directly resolving a liability dispute, the exact reason people buy a dashcam in the first place. Not every experience has been smooth on the way there, though. Some buyers report missing components on delivery, and at least one case of the wrong model being shipped entirely. So Rexing isn't flashy. The app can frustrate you, but when it actually mattered, the footage was there. That's more than some of the brands you just saw can say. Number 3. Vantrue. Vantrue's flagship models promise something specific: real thermal imaging heat detection up to 330 feet, built into the Pilot 2. Independent testing told a different story. Real-world range came in closer to 200 feet. Still functional, just not what the marketing promised. That gap matters, but it's not the whole picture. Where Vantrue holds up is low light. The N4 and N5 Pro models run Sony Starvis 2 sensors, the same sensor family Wirecutter singled out as class-leading for night footage. And heat resistance, the kind of thing that actually determines whether your dashcam survives a summer, is where Vantrue has real engineering behind it. The N4's supercapacitor is rated to operate from 14 degrees Fahrenheit all the way up to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. That spec isn't just marketing. Older Vantrue units without that capacitor tell the cautionary version of this story. One owner reported a 3-year-old non-capacitor model damaged by extreme Texas heat. Reliability, when the hardware is right, has held up long-term. One owner reported over 4 years of steady front and cabin operation. The app, though, remains a weak point, described simply as problematic, the same complaint that follows nearly every brand in this category. So, Vantrue oversold one number on one flagship model. But the engineering underneath, the sensor, the heat tolerance, is where the real promise was kept. That's one exaggerated spec, not a pattern of them. Number 2. Thinkware. One Thinkware owner ran a U3000 for 2.5 years without a single issue. And when a hit and run happened in a parking lot, parking mode caught it. That's the exact moment a dashcam exists for. Heat is where Thinkware actually stands out. The U3000 uses a crossed ventilation grille design, specifically built to handle high temperatures, independently named one of the best in the category for beating the heat. For a device that sits behind glass in direct sun all day, that's not a small detail. But the software hasn't kept pace with the hardware. Wi-Fi connectivity is described as hit and miss. The video player has a recurring complaint of freezing and skipping, unless fully downloaded first, meaning quickly reviewing footage isn't always simple. Auto reconnect is described as unreliable, and some users report it not working at all. And compared to newer competitors, Thinkware is missing features that have become standard elsewhere. No remote live view, no two-way communication, no auto backup, no parked impact notification. So Thinkware built a dashcam that survives the heat and does its core job reliably. It just hasn't caught up to what a modern app is supposed to do. Solid hardware held back by software stuck in the past. Number 1. Viofo. Somewhere, a Viofo A119 has been mounted on a windshield since October 2016. Through repeated 110 degrees Fahrenheit plus days, still running. That's the kind of story that doesn't happen by accident. It's also not just one anecdote propping up the brand. Wirecutter, after researching over 400 dashcam models and hands-on testing 61 of them since 2013, named the Viofo A229 Pro their best overall dashcam. Their reasoning came down to two things: Starvis 2 low-light performance and a price roughly half of comparable Blackview and Thinkware systems. That's not a forum opinion. That's the most rigorous test in this entire dossier, and Viofo came out on top of it. Community sentiment backs it up too. Consistent video quality over extended periods, with minimal hardware failures reported across the A119 Mini and A229 series. In a category full of freezing screens and melted mounts, that consistency stands out. Support is where the story gets complicated. One forum thread bluntly titled it, "Viofo's support team is inexperienced and inadequate," describing problems reappearing in the newest cameras. Other owners call that same support stellar. Both are true, depending on who you ask. There's one more thing worth knowing. On the A129, Wi-Fi reportedly needs to be manually disabled for parking mode to work reliably. A small step, but one the manual doesn't make obvious. So, Viofo isn't perfect, but it's the only brand in this list where the most rigorous independent test in the industry backed up what owners were already saying. The camera earned the trust. The support just hasn't caught up yet. 10 brands. 2 very different stories. Some of them were never really about the camera at all. They were about the review, the box, the number on the spec sheet, and whether any of it was true. The ones that earned trust didn't do it with marketing. They did it by still working, months and years later, the one time someone actually needed them to. So, if you're checking your windshield right now, you already know which list yours belongs on.